In the mix, episode 15. Welcome. Shouts to Tefera Beats for the new, intro tune.
Fire beat.
Fire. As always, my guy, Adis Kucukovic. I'm Jay Boyal. Masai Ujiri just finished his press conference, end of season, talking about the champs. He didn't say anything, crazy as GMs, executives never do at the end of the season. But we'll dive into the few tidbits that he did give some stuff away. The Raptors are going to be looking to go back-to-back champs.
Yes,
but
sir.
will Kawhi Leonard stay? And if he does stay,
Yes, he will.
what will this team actually look like? People think they can run it back. Not so quick. There's financial issues to this. If everybody comes back, they're over the luxury tax for an organization who's never been in the luxury tax before. And then you got Kyrie, all these free agents looking to make their decision. We are now at June 25th. Less than 5 days away, right? Because
Yes,
June
sir.
30th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. they can start signing. I know what I'm doing on that Sunday night. I'm be glued to the damn TV.
Things start happening right away.
Oh yeah, buddy. These teams are talking to players for time, right? Kawhi's got his meeting set for July 2nd with the Clippers. I've been saying for a long time he's not going to sign quick. And the NBA awards went last night. Couple awards that you and me may have a little issue with, but I think for the most part it went as people predicted. And then we'll dive into the Leafs situation, or at least I will.
Sir.
And you'll sit there looking pretty.
Exactly. Make a few jokes. Make it entertaining for everyone.
Well, I mean, you used to be a model for like one shoot, so we'll let you do you.
Well,
All right. So, did you watch any of Ujiri's press conference, or were you just busy pretending you're a boxer at the gym?
pretending that and working. So no.
You were
You're
working
not-
this morning?
I do a lot of shit. Okay.
You're not working
It's not
this
just
morning.
work. It's not just work.
All right. So, the only thing I found of note, really, Masai said that he's already spoken to both Danny Green and Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
And he said that they both understand that everybody wants to run it back. Danny said to him, I want to come back. Gasol said, I want to come back. Ujiri said, I want everybody to run it back, but we got to wait on Kawhi. And they said they're fine doing that. That's, what's going to happen. That's the priority for the Raptors. And they
I
even,
feel like everyone's gonna wait for Kawhi.
yeah, I think the whole NBA is on a standstill until Kawhi makes a decision. And then a reporter had asked Masai about Vince Carter. Would you bring him back? And
No.
what he said I found a little interesting. He said, essentially, he's always got a place with us. He's got a big place in our history, but we got one big free agent we're worried about right now, and we're going to go from there. Kind of beat it around the bush.
You can't go. We're not that team. Lakers there with Kobe where they do a retirement year. That's because they were at the bottom of the barrel.
Two years ago is the time when they should have brought him out, when he was getting bought out from the Hawks.
It's too late now. We're a championship team. We're defending champs now. Well, there's no
What is he
point
going to play?
of going
Patrick
back
McCaw
there.
minutes?
Yeah. Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
What
Or
I love
Jeremy
to
Lin minutes,
yeah.
fucking come finish off just dribbling the ball.
Would I love to see Vince Carter in a Raptors uniform one more time? Because I barely remember when I was a kid. I went to a couple games with him playing. Don't remember him, but doesn't make any sense. No. And especially when we reveal how much of a financial crisis this team is going to be in this summer, you can't go wasting dollars on a charity of an old guy that you just want, have a ceremonial year with.
Yeah.
It's not good business. It's not good basketball decisions. Then he was asked if he had any contact with DeMar DeRozan since the trade, and he said he's never told the story before, but he said after the Raptors and Spurs played in Toronto, DeRozan came into the locker room and they hugged, and then he asked how
Came into the Raptors
locker room.
Oh shit!
And then he had a quick word with Masai, asked him Masai's family was doing and how his Giants of Africa stuff was going, stuff like that. He said he's texting with Dwayne Casey right now too. I think Dwayne is.
But then
what about here.
What about that comment that he made when he was first traded? There's nothing left to be said between them two.
Yeah, but you're in the locker room and you just
I go to the
nice
locker room.
What do you mean?
Okay, I guess see the players.
Kyle Lowry, his best friend, JV, Delon Wright, those guys are still there. Actually,
Right,
they
true.
got traded right before.
I was gonna say yeah.
So wasn't that
Who you
many
really wanna
guys?
see?
Really? It's Kalo, Siakam, Norm, Fred,
OG.
and OG. Not a whole lot of guys that he's got that rapport with
I
anymore.
think he just probably went over for Kyle Lowry.
Essentially, I'm sure they went to dinner after. You saw that picture after the game in San Antonio, when DeMar and Rudy Gay were in their Spurs tracksuits and Kyle's in his Raptors tracksuit, chilling on a couch.
Really? I didn't see this.
Well,
That's sick.
because Kyle and Rudy went to college together,
Yeah.
and then played in Memphis together, and then played in Toronto together.
Did they play in Toronto together?
Yeah. What do you mean? It was the Rudy Gay trade that started everything. We had Kyle and DeMar.
Yeah, we did. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Should bank
bandwagon
there.
this guy hopped on the last couple of years. And
Yeah,
and then obviously when DeMar went to San Antonio, he'd played with Rudy, so he knew him, right?
Yeah.
So those three, I guess, are running mates.
Well,
Yeah,
why not?
not a whole lot. The only one other quote I found very interesting I had to jot down. Well, two. He asked about his long-term future with the Raptors. He says, yes, for me, it's always about Toronto. I love it here. My family loves it here. My wife loves it here, which is important.
Perfect.
My
That's all I
kids are
want to hear.
Canadian. I want to win more. In my mind, I'm here. We want to experience this moment here again and again and again. I said that we'd win in Toronto, and I truly believed it, and I truly believe we'll win some more.
There you
He's
go.
here.
So he basically just declined Washington's offer.
Yeah, he said,
On TV.
whatever you're trying to throw at my way, I'm Gucci.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Bro, who is that guy that said, trust me, he's good?
Larry Tannenbaum.
Yeah, there you
He
go.
wasn't wrong.
He knew.
This guy
He
knew. And then just tied into the Leafs a little bit. He was talking about how when he came here,
Yeah.
the talk was, can any of these Toronto teams ever win? And he goes, Shani is my boy, and so was Kyle. He's talking about Brendan Shanahan and Kyle
Yeah.
Dubas. And he was asked, can basketball pass hockey as a sport in Toronto as the main sport? And he goes, well, first he said the soccer team has won, the basketball team has won, and I
Yeah.
guarantee you the hockey team is going to win. But he said, yes, I think basketball will pass hockey as Canada's sport.
How big of a turnout you think a Leafs parade would
get?
turn?
Here's the thing. I think it'd be about the same numbers, but totally different type of people. I think you get a lot more older people who have been diehard Leafs fans since
That's true,
60s,
yeah.
70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Where the Raptors, it's a young man's game, right? All these kids are falling in love with the Raptors. And you saw a lot of young people, whether it's teenagers or
That's true.
20s and their 30s. I think Leafs, you see a lot of older folks. I don't think it'd be as rowdy of a parade either.
But again, the Raptors parade was the first championship ever for the team, so
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Leafs, you might as well call it that. 67, bro.
I guess,
When it
yeah, but it's
happens.
not the first. It can still be called champ.
1967s. All right, shall we dive into the Raptors offseason plan?
Yep, let's get into it.
All right, they're free agents. We all know Kawhi. Then
Yes,
Gasol's
sir.
got a player option.
Yeah.
Then Danny Green, Jeremy Lin, Jody Meeks, Patrick Moreland, or Eric Moreland, Patrick McCaw, and this Lloyd guy. I believe it's McCaw and Lloyd have both been given qualifying offers about a little bit over $1 million.
Okay.
You bringing back Green, Lin, and Meeks? If Kawhi stays. Because if Kawhi doesn't stay,
And Meeks? Well, Lynn and Meeks. I feel like they're already both not even thinking about coming back.
well, you need...
Especially Lynn, from what I've
I
heard.
think you need Jeremy Lin because during the season, DeLon Wright was used. Right? But then the
How
playoffs,
much
you
did
don't
they
need,
really,
you don't
I,
need
know, I
three-point
didn't really
guards.
see them use Lynn that much. Even
Well,
when they did
because
have
he
him.
came end of the season and was a little hurt.
I feel like
Wasn't
it's-
playing too well. I think they got to
So
get a
then why
third
keep him?
point guard.
You can have
or
him-
guard. Whether it's a point guard or a shooting guard, you got to get a third guy in there.
Meeks is old, man. What's the point of really keeping
Yeah,
him
no,
around?
he can leave for
Yeah,
me, right? So let's look at this. This becomes a real issue.
I know.
So we spoke this before we even started recording. Mike Gasol's got a player option for $25 million. If he takes his player option and then Kawhi resigns for the max contract, whether
Yeah.
it's a 1 year or a 5 year, right? So the salary for next season, salary cap, is going to be projected $109 million. Luxury tax is $132 million. And the luxury tax apron, which is pretty much like, that's what teams will really say we got to stay below that because the
Yeah.
penalties are way more severe. It's $136 million. And now if Gasol and Kawhi both come back, the Raptors are going to be at $144.94 million. So they're going to be over the luxury tax apron by
Right.
about, what, $8 million?
Yeah.
Who's out the door? This
Well,
is a franchise, mind you, that hasn't ever gone into luxury tax, was $1 million into luxury tax this year in the DeMar DeRozan Kawhi trade,
But I feel
then
like
took $1 million from
there's
San
a player
Antonio.
getting overpaid, man. Do you see Norman Powell's making $10
Yeah,
million?
I know. He's
That's
gone for
insane.
me. I like him.
He's a good
but-
player, but you can find that in a lot of other players, you know? What he does for us?
Yeah.
Paying him $10 million is a joke.
Well, what I've always said about Masai Ujiri, his trades are good. I've never been a fan of any of his signings. Right? He was quick after Norman Powell had one good year. He gave him that rookie max at that
Hey, he had a
standpoint.
good year this year, too.
No, he
Don't
didn't.
sleep. He came up big for us in some games.
Milwaukee series, that was it.
Yeah.
During the season, he was bad. I
Yeah,
love
okay.
his personality and his energy.
Bro,
That's
it's
the thing
all
he
about
brings
when
to
it
you.
matters, man. If you show up when it
All right,
matters.
so he had one good series. He barely played in the finals. 5-7 minutes a night.
Yeah. If
Right?
he's good enough.
Patrick McCaw started
Oh,
getting
yeah, I
minutes
guess
in the
it's just
finals
Milwaukee
because
series.
Norman Powell wasn't giving it to you. $10 million for that is a lot.
10 million is a joke to me.
Right?
I was surprised.
You have the breakdown of the Raptors' salaries next year?
Yeah.
List them off for the listeners.
So Kyle Lowry would be 34.9 million. Then you'd have Kawhi Leonard at 32.7. Then you got Marc Gasol at 25.5. Then Serge Ibaka at 23.2. Norman Powell at 10. Fred VanVleet at 9 million, which I feel is okay.
That's good.
Pascal Siakam at 2.3.
For one more year.
And OG Anunoby for 2.3 as well.
You also got to keep in mind.
And then you got Chris Boucher, Malcolm Miller, and Justin Hill.
Yeah, they're at like $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? Keep in mind Siakam, after this season, he'll be eligible for the rookie max.
Oh, 100%.
Which is 25% of the cap. I don't think he deserves that much. We'll see what he does next. If he ends up averaging 20 points next season,
which I feel he will,
then he's going to get the rookie max, which at 25% of the cap.
And you don't win a championship and then just go downhill from there. That's when he's learning.
I did like what he said last night when he won the most improved player. He said, I'm not even where I want to be yet.
Exactly.
I want to be the best. He goes, this is just a start.
I liked his speech the best because it was like these guys are crying and stuff and like, but it's like he won a championship, like listen to him, bro.
Yeah. All right. So they got a shed. Now, a possibility I see is Ibaka leaving. Because you can spread out his $23 million.
Do you want Ibaka leaving though?
No, but I'm thinking that might be like the Leafs just have to trade Patrick Marleau. You have to sometimes swallow your.
But not Ibaka, man. Come on.
No, I like him. I think he adds so much on the defensive end.
Getting rid of him, who do you have as a big man?
No, you got to bring a big man in, a little bit cheaper big man, and then spread that money around. Because so how many guys did you list off that are under contract next year? Only like 9 guys.
Yeah.
And you need 15 on your roster. But how you putting those guys in the roster if there's no money left?
11 guys, but
so
I guess
okay, you cleared, and did that have McCaw on it too?
No.
Okay, so he's been qualified offer. Like they got 5 guys about to got added to the roster. Just shedding Norm Powell gets you back to okay, you can play in the NBA.
Yeah.
You're under the apron, which they want to be, right? You could go higher, but they're not paying that much for a tax break. Where are you finding the money for the other 5 guys to add on your roster? It's not that you want to get rid of Serge. You just might have to. You know what I'm saying?
But you wouldn't even. I don't know.
It's
you
gonna
clear up like 2.3, getting rid of Anunoby too.
Unless they're getting a first round pick, I don't think they're trading OG. I think they still believe he is their fail safe. If Kawhi leaves, he is our starting small and forward, and we're gonna try and build.
You can do better than him, and he's coming off an injury. Yeah,
but you were high on him, if I remember correct. Me? I never thought he's going to be that good.
No, I was pissed at him since that LeBron James.
Yeah.
What's it called? Defense.
I never thought he was going to be as good as the Raptors projected him to be.
I did not think so either.
I think he's a guy who has a ceiling of, 12 and 8.
Yeah.
Shooting 40% from the field on a good night. Right? And you see anything better than that coming from him?
I don't.
No. All right.
And especially coming off an injury, I feel like it's just...
The one thing they might have to look at... If Gasol takes his player option, you might have to say, we can't. You're traded.
Gasol?
$25 million.
How much do you value Gasol on the team, though?
His defense, offense,
insane.
He has nothing. But what I think
he doesn't have nothing offense. Come on, don't give me this. Okay,
95% of his games he gives you nothing on offense.
Bro, at home he shot 60% in the playoffs.
Okay, and then what happens on the road?
Okay, what happens on the road happens on the road. Stays on the road.
You play just as many games on the road as you do at home.
When you come that big, we were the best defensive team.
We were.
And that's what wins championship.
I think what needs to happen...
Getting rid of Gasol, I feel like takes so much away from the defense.
One thing I wish reporters actually drilled Masai on, when he said that he talked about Danny and Mark and they want to run it back, but they're waiting on Kawhi. I should have asked him, have you had talks with Marc Gasol about opting out to re-sign? Like, don't take your player option. Because if you want us, we want you. You want to stay here, but we can't afford you at $25 million. If you opted out anywhere else, he's not getting $25 million at 34 years old. So maybe you come back at $20 million a year.
Him winning his ring, he would do that. He would take the less pay cut to keep this team.
That's something that has to happen. I think Danny Green maybe could take a little bit less. What do you think he comes in at?
Who?
I think he's coming around close to Fred, probably between 8 and 10. Danny Green.
Yeah.
And he's not even signed, and we're already over.
I'd say about 8, yeah.
Right? There's problems here, man. Big problems. He's not on that list.
He's not. But then even a guy like Serge Ibaka, you just gotta fucking
What?
somehow, like, okay, with Gasol, you can ask him to take less money.
Yeah.
If you cut who are you saying, Norman Powell, how much would you think Gasol would go for? How low? 20?
18 to 20.
You think he'd go to 18?
He's made a lot of money in his career.
He has, but now I feel like him being like, oh, you guys brought me and we got a ring. Like, why am I going?
Well, do you want to run it back and try and win another chip?
Yeah.
Or no? Do you want to go play in freaking Memphis again, my friend?
There's so
Phoenix
many factors
Suns?
at this, though. How old is he? Do you know?
He's 34.
He's 34. So he's nearing the end of his career. I don't
On the
think
open
he's
market,
really,
he's not getting 25. Nowhere near.
fuck.
For a guy who's a leader and
Big
defensive
problems here.
presence.
Because now I'm thinking, if he's that
People
old,
think
he
it's-
doesn't care about winning another championship. He might be satisfied with just winning.
I
the
don't
one.
know. People think it's just, run the team back, run the team back.
Yeah.
You can't
Well, yeah,
just
'cause that's
snap
been-
your fingers and run this team back. It's
'Cause
not
that's-
physically possible.
That's the easy answer, yeah.
There's a lot of player exemptions they can use in terms of trades. The Raptors, it's very hard to understand. There are 4 trade exemptions, but you can only use one at a time. And that would save you, if you make a trade, you can save about $2.5 million off the cap for a player you bring in. But if you bring in a serviceable guy, he's going to be probably around $10 million. And then you're saving 2.5. Okay, that's 7.5 on the books.
But then Danny Green would
Wait,
have. I'm
Danny
thinking
Green, he's coming in around 9 or 10.
he could be coming in less, man. It's
He wants
gonna
to
be
run
a
it
tough
back,
sell,
but-
man. But to me, he seems like a guy who's really honest in himself. He knows
No, he is. And he knows he didn't play well in the playoffs.
exactly, and he says it.
I don't
So
think he's going
I'm-
more than 7-8. It's the NBA. This is the national we overpay
But
players
he
league.
wants to win, man. That's the reason why he wants to run it back, because he wants
Yeah.
to win again. So maybe if they're like, yo, to win, this is what we have to do. Fuck. Maybe he's like, okay, fuck yeah, let's do it. I don't have that many more years to be freaking playing at my prime.
Yeah. I think in order to bring this team back, it's got to be Gasol opt out and re-sign.
Yeah, for less.
Norman Powell's gone. And then see what happens with Serge. I really like him. I want him to come back. But you got to make the dollars fit, right? People think that the luxury tax is, you can just keep going as high as you want, and just keep paying more tax.
Yeah.
No, there's a limit. You can't just have a freaking $200
It's
million.
so tricky.
You can't just have a $200 million salary over MLSC. We'll just pay $100 million in tax and win another chip. If that was the case, Golden State would have everybody in the league.
I know, literally.
You
They'd
know,
have the same team.
it's a misconception out there with the luxury tax and how much you can go over the cap to re-sign a player, right? If you're re-signing your players, you can go well over the luxury tax. But if
Yeah.
you're bringing in players, it's a different story. So they're gonna have problems, and
They will, but I feel like if they keep, as long as they have that.
smart, right? And I don't know the percentage of, like to re-sign a player, how much you can go over. I think you can only add another 5%, right? So you re-sign Kawhi, he's at least hit that 5, and then same with Danny and everybody, right?
Yeah.
You're going well over that 5, so there's no difference.
But you gotta, what's it called? I don't know. I think you gotta keep that starting core. You gotta have those guys if you want to run it back.
I think you need
can't-
the combo
The
of
changes
Serge and
gotta happen on the
Gasol,
bench.
just like how Nick Nurse used throughout the year.
Serge and Gasol?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes starting JV, sometimes starting Serge, depending on the matchup and what you needed that night. Sometimes starting both.
Both insanely strong defenders.
And
And
then-
then they can, any night they can just
Yeah.
spark up and hit 20.
Now, the next couple of years is going to be crazy for this franchise. Now, if I'm Kawhi Leonard,
Looking deep into it, eh? 20 years?
no, the next 2 years.
Oh, this is, I seriously
No.
just said 20. I was like,
Pascal
what?
Siakam, right? With him eligible for 25% of the cap. Now, that ties into Kawhi Leonard. Because if I'm Kawhi, I'm signing a 1-year deal to try
Yeah.
and run it back and defend my chip, right?
You have to, yeah.
But he's got now 8 years of service time under his belt. If he gets to 10 years, he's eligible for 35% of the cap. The super, super, super duper max contract, right? So he's probably
Is that what it's called?
yeah, it's pretty much. So why would he sign a 1 year in Toronto and then go to the Clippers this summer? When if he stayed 2 years and then went and he's still gonna be in his prime, he could get even more money. So now if he wants to stay 2 years, Kyle's only got 1 year remaining.
Yeah.
So then Kyle's got to resign, and then Siakam is done after his 4-year rookie deal is done after this coming season, and those guys have to resign.
Did you hear this thing with Larry saying like he has problems with his back and stuff?
No, I didn't. Where'd you
No?
hear
there's some interview and he was saying he has like problems with his back, so he would like to like retire quicker than just signing another 4 years.
Oh no, like those back problems go back about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think he's okay. I think he's maybe got another 2-3 years in him. I don't think he's a guy who's gonna play into late 30s.
Yeah, I don't think so. Who he's 33 now.
Is he?
Yeah.
So okay, next season finishes out. He's about 34. I think maybe if Kawhi gives a 2-year deal, he might re-sign 1 year. What I think Masai Ujiri needs to do, you need to get Marc Gasol, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry in a room together. Say, boys, because Kawhi would Kawhi even if he wants
get
to,
the whole starting five in a room.
maybe even Pascal, but
You can get Danny in there, man. You want to tell him you might be taking way less money than you thought.
right. But the problem becomes if Kawhi wants to get that 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't see him signing that 2 years though with Kyle only having 1 year left. That's his running mate. They've grown a close bond.
They have to.
He's not signing 2 years more than one. He's not signing anything more than 1 year when there's a threat that Kyle can only be there for 1 more year. Right?
I feel like it makes the most sense for him to sign just 1 year. Try defending his
that's
chip.
what I'm saying. Get those guys in the room.
If not,
and say,
move
Kyle,
on.
just sign a 1 year extension right now, 2 year extension right now, and then Kawhi, do it to something to match the same amount of terms.
Yeah.
And then Gasol, we want to win. Opt out, re-sign, pen on paper, $20 million right now. Can't give that guy 25.
If you're complaining about getting only 20 million
and playing for a chip,
that's not fucking
right.
First world problem.
This is not hockey. This is basketball. You're making bare money. This guy's probably made close to $200 million in his career, if not more.
Exactly.
So he'll be fine.
If they're down to do this.
This is if Kawhi stays. Shall we get into if Kawhi leaves?
Why do you want to talk about that? You know he's not leaving.
There's a possibility. I've shifted to now.
It's a possibility he freaking tears his ACL walking to his mom's house. It's not happening.
No. The possibility of him tearing his ACL walking to his mom's house is 0.3%.
Oh, you know the percent.
I say
you know the percent.
There's a 45% chance. Finally, now I'm saying the Raptors are the favorite. 55% chance to re-sign him. There's still a 45% chance he goes to the Clippers.
I've never met someone that can be so wrong. So many times, bro. We've had
so many times.
So many discussions about the Raptors, all of this. If you go back to every video, you're always...
The only one I was wrong about is I said Golden State was going to win the finals. And I didn't think Klay Thompson was going to be injured.
Regardless. Every time we're talking about Raptors.
Dude, you think you're Gandhi when you get 2 things right in your whole friggin' life.
2 things so far.
So far.
And when Kawhi signs his 1 year contract, I'm going to be right
he's going to do 1 year and I give him a 55% chance. This is the odds are in the Raptors'
Story's
favor.
Changing from
you twist my words, man. You're like a politician or like reporters who you say one thing and they twist your words to give a headline for clickbait.
There you go. For clickbait, yeah. This is going to be a clickbait video.
That's what you are.
Jay hates the Raptors.
In journalism school, we learned about idiots like you and how to stay away from them.
Oh, now you're doing a show with him.
Alright. If Kawhi decides he's going home, if only Andrew Wiggins.
Fuck Wiggins.
Minnesota's taking calls on him.
Talk about.
Would you try and acquire Andrew Wiggins?
Sure. Why not? Who the fuck else are we gonna think about if Kawhi leaves? Why not?
I don't know, Jimmy Butler.
even with him, we're gonna be at the bottom.
We're not gonna be at the bottom, but we're not
the bottom of the bottom of the
contender.
8. I'm saying like 7, 8.
No.
If
we brought in Andrew Wiggins and you kept Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, so I don't know who the hell you would have to trade draft picks.
Who's gonna be winning these games, man? These guys gonna be putting up.
Dude, how many games? Regular season.
Oh my! They still had Kawhi with them, bro. They had that confidence and they had that teachings. This is a fucking.
He taught them a lot this season.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not like they just forget that knowledge. It leaves your brain.
It's not about forgetting. It's having him in the locker room is a big thing.
But I'm just saying, they will go and they'll be still top 4 team in the East.
Top 4.
Yeah, in the regular season. Dude, people think Andrew Wiggins is falling face of the earth. He's not as good as we thought he was going to be. He's a guy who will get you 17 or 18 without trying in a night. He doesn't have that high motor and he doesn't really give a shit. And maybe with the Raptors playing at home, he starts actually hitting the gym, putting some weight on, and wanting to be that guy.
Bro, he's played so many years in the career. If you haven't done that by now, you're not going to ever.
Kyle Lowry was nothing for 6 years.
Yeah, but he was working. Why do you think he was getting better every year?
He was fat as shit.
But every year he kept getting better and better and better.
Skinnier.
Skinnier.
Barely. He didn't get skinny until like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but he was losing a little bit of weight every time.
No.
100%, bro.
Dude.
Are you dumb? You seen him before?
I'm just saying, some guys figure it out later. And I think if anything's going to push you to figure it out later in life, it's going to be playing for your hometown team that just won a chip.
I don't think he cares about all that. He lived here till he was like, what, 11, 12?
What are you talking about?
Wiggins?
He lived here until grade 11. Then he went to academy in the States.
Yeah, he played high school ball in the States.
Grade 11 and 12. Grade 9 and 10, he went to high school in Vaughan.
Exactly. And how old are you in grade 10? 15?
He left when he was 16, grade 11.
And how
Same thing with RJ Barrett, and this guy had Canadian flags on his inside of his jacket at the draft. So now they're not Canadian anymore because they played high school in the States.
But I feel like that it's not going to add any drive to him, even if he comes here. He's just
what are you
going to be the same
talking
Wiggins.
about? So if you move to the States for a few years to work, you're just going to say, I don't even care about the Raptors no more?
What?
You would be motivated.
Bro, when I was... I can't remember my thought process when I was 15, 16.
But you still stay connected to that area.
You do, but like, what motivation is that gonna add for him to be any better? He's gonna be the same fucking Wiggins. That's just a fucking prayer that we can have. Oh, please be better. But we're just gonna get the same old shit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I don't see his top 4. That's wild. We wouldn't even have an all-star, like possibly in Siakam, maybe
and
Larry. Do you think
Wiggins is a guy who can be an
Leonard,
all-star,
you
but
think he's gonna be a freaking all-star?
Who?
Larry. Without a number 2?
Because he'll have to do a lot more. He'll have to score more. He didn't have to score this year because he had one of the best scorers in the league, Kawhi Leonard.
And there's been games where he's tried to score a lot and he's just not been able to.
Okay, but how many games,
This
like even the
happens a lot.
playoffs, where he's just facilitator and distributor, control the pace of the game, control everything. And
But then
pick your
also
spots.
shot like 1 for 9.
Okay, a few games. Oh my god, man.
Like,
you're such a hater.
It's
You
not
call me a
hating.
hater? You were the
It's
biggest
not
Kyle
hating.
Lowry hater when this guy proved all your asses wrong this
Bro,
playoffs and in the finals.
It's not hating, but I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't have a number 2 all-star like he did with DeMar DeRozan, like he did with Kawhi Leonard,
but by committee. Dude, they were like 18 and 4 without Kawhi this season. His scoring went way up.
He always built such a strong relationship with the number 2, with the number 1 on the team. He was always the number 2. Without that, he's leading the team to a top 4 spot in the East. You're wild, man. Top 4.
Who the hell is better? You got Philly. Boston is done. They're done. Kyrie's gone. Al Horford is gone. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are gonna be better than Andrew Wiggins.
Brooklyn's gonna be up in top 4 too.
Do you lose D'Angelo Williams and you think Kyrie makes them that much better?
He made Boston that much better.
What do you mean? They made the conference finals without him, and then they lost in the semis with him.
That was the year that they got him too. That they made it to the thing.
Yeah, and he didn't play.
Okay, but that's playoffs. So again, you're saying we're talking about during the season, top 4.
Okay, and he was out for the last month of the season. So you got Philly, Milwaukee.
This year and he kept
Who's gonna be better than them in the East? You think Charlotte's gonna make a run now? Miami?
Okay, so you got Milwaukee, Philly, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is gonna be better than them. We're just Kyrie.
Possibly could. They have an actual all-star. Who the fuck would we have?
If the Raptors have Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Andrew Wiggins, you think just Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn is better than them?
It's not gonna
and
be
that white guy shooter.
Brooklyn is not gonna be Kyrie by himself, bro. You know that already. They're looking to make big fucking moves.
Okay, so if KD goes, he's not gonna be playing next season.
They're trying to sign DeAndre Jordan out too.
Oh my god!
There's
DeAndre Jordan.
There could be other pickups.
You were out to lunch. DeAndre fucking Jordan. This guy is now a 10 and 10.
Bro.
You're lucky if he gets you 10 points.
Oh my god. You're telling me
I'm telling you that team would be top 4 in the East.
You're wild.
What do you think Orlando Magic gonna be better? You can't even name me.
And what a fucking game.
Pacers?
With Leonard.
Pistons?
Hornets? Yeah, Pacers could be up there too.
Hornets are gonna lose Kemba.
And if they do keep Kemba? And they sign
then they're the same.
Else?
Nobody's going to Charlotte. Can't even pay man. They have no money.
The man even said, "I'll take less money for someone for Charlotte."
Dude, they're already almost at the cap, and they have nobody because Michael Jordan's a terrible executive. You want me to pull up their salary cap numbers?
Yeah, but Thing just said he would take less money.
Yes, but they're already there. He has to take less money, and they would have maybe 20 million in space left. That's nowhere near even a good player. You can't get an all-star for 20 million.
Yes, you can.
Marc Gasol was saying would be 20 million, and he's nowhere near an all-star.
Who?
We just said Marc Gasol should get 20. He's nowhere near an all-star.
I want to say nowhere near. Name me like 4 centers better than him. Go. You can't. It'd be Joel Embiid. I wouldn't.
Centers don't go to the all-star game.
Well, fuck. If you had to, he would be one of them. 100%.
Rudy Gobert. He's defensive player of the year back-to-back years. And averages 12, 13 points.
Great. 12, 13 points.
Yeah, Gasol was averaging 6 for us.
When? When the fuck was he averaging 6?
6 or
Are you
7,
wild?
bro.
Are you wild?
Give me 30 seconds here. Give me 30 seconds here.
This guy said 6 or 7.
Okay, maybe 8. Congratulations. Okay, for the season, he was 13.6. I don't know if it's going to show Toronto. Oh,
How much was he for the season? How much?
For just Raptors, 9.1.
How did
Sick.
you find just Raptor? Oh, what was he for fucking season?
I don't care about the season. I care about what he did for the Raptors. 13.6 for the season. 9.1 for the Raptors.
13. We'll use that number.
No, 9.1. And then...
Obviously,
one second. You want his playoffs too? Playoffs? 9.4. Get the shit out of here, bro.
And Rudy Gobert's playing on a team where he's pretty much like... It's him and Donovan Mitchell.
No, I'm just saying you said name centers who are better.
But I'm saying when he was in Memphis and shit, he was averaging 13 too. So you're telling me this guy's better than him? No. And he's just as strong of a defender.
Gobert is a better defender. Gasol's
Maybe
a good defender. Gobert is better.
The hair on his chin.
Was Gasol nominated for Defense Player of the Year this year?
Should have been. Should have been.
But he wasn't.
Doesn't get his credit, just like he never got his credit with you.
It was Gobert, PJ Tucker, and Paul George. You think Gasol's better than those 3?
Yes.
Oh my God, man! What do you love about this guy so bad?
I don't know why no respect, so bro. How amazing, the amazing defense.
No, I'm saying he's good, but you were putting him on a mantle like he's, Scottie Pippen defender level.
Okay, if Gobert's on such a big mantle, why can't his team even fucking do anything? They can't even win a fucking game.
Dude, you got one good player. What do you want? Gasol's playing with the
Why
Raptors,
isn't he that other good player since he's so good?
Huh?
Since he's an all-star. Why isn't he the other good player?
No, I'm not saying he's an all-star. You said name me better centers. And I said centers don't go to the NBA.
No, I was talking about if they put centers in the all-star game, what all-stars would be in.
Gobert would be there over Gasol at this point in Gasol's career.
No, he wouldn't.
5 years ago, Gasol's there. Now,
Gasol's a fucking champion. Gobert's a fucking
dude, one center goes from each conference. Joel Embiid is in the East. Gobert in the West. If DeMarcus Cousins ever remembers how to play basketball again.
He won't. He'll probably just get injured again.
He's got to get healthy. He's got to get healthy.
He's got to have health. This is all bullshit. He's just not good.
He's not good, but he's also not healthy.
He was good when it was okay to lose. On Sacramento. That was the only time he was good.
He was good and it was okay to lose. I like that line.
It's true.
All right. I don't know. The Raptors would be top 4, man. I don't know how you disagree with that.
I don't know.
I would say they'd be top 3.
I'm not arguing this because
it'll be Bucks,
Kawhi Leonard's not
Raptors.
leaving. So I'm not even arguing this.
All right, so
I know he's here for one more year.
We're gonna do a show like as soon as he signs. I don't care. You're leaving work.
As soon as he signs,
as soon as he signs wherever he's signing.
Oh, so
doing a show.
And if he signs in Toronto, we're gonna do a show. I'm just be bashing you the whole show.
Dude, I said there's a higher chance of him staying. You twist words. You cannot take criticism.
Your words,
you're a little child.
Your words go from May till now, change every week. It's like you're saying something else.
Because things change. He goes through experiences that make him like
2 weeks ago, you sent me a message saying, "Oh, this guy's gone for sure."
Yeah, but then he stayed in Toronto for the next 2 weeks after he won the championship. How do you say your mind?
But I've been saying
like
from
a normal
the
human
beginning,
being.
it makes the most sense to stay in Toronto. I gave you all the reasons.
I said if he won, and now he won, and then he's staying in the city.
Right after we did the parade thing, you were saying, "Oh, this guy's so
not after the parade. It was after the game. The parade was 4 days later.
Whatever he said in an interview after.
There's no problem with that.
There is.
No, you're honestly stupid.
You are, bro. Dude, literally, you're wrong every time, bro.
You're telling me there's not a big difference between him. Oh, as soon as we win, the parade's over, hop on a plane and fly to San Diego, and him staying in Toronto for 2 weeks, going to Niagara Falls, going to Blue Jays games, going to Cactus Club.
That can be looked at both ways. It could be him just trying to see things before he leaves. Or it could be him living here.
He's experiencing the city, and Toronto's a fantastic city. So the more you experience it, the more you
kept saying it's not a place to go for free agents.
Sorry?
You kept saying, what's it called? It's not
yes, I'm saying people who have not played here do not look to come here. He has spent a whole year here.
I disagree. There's been a lot of people that haven't played here that have been here bare times and probably spent weeks here.
Okay, in the summer coming. Yeah. But name me a player, a good player.
I don't know what these fucking guys do in their free times, bro.
No. No free agent has ever signed with us who's been good that came from another team. You can't name me one.
Okay, well, maybe now that we won a championship, everything changes, bro.
Exactly, but you're saying that I said this before. Yes, I said it before and it was true. Now things are shifting. Masai Ujiri has done his job.
You shift your words too much, bro.
Dude, you just don't understand that. What's the issue with that?
No, because I argue with you a point such as, oh, Raptors this, Raptors this, and you're like, no. And then when it changes, when everything I said was right, then you start agreeing with me.
No, because you are so biased where you can't think of a world where the Raptors aren't the greatest of all time.
This year I didn't, and it proved. And it proved me right.
And dude, I'm still right. Free agents do not look to come to Toronto until maybe now it's shifted when they won.
Yeah.
I'm still right about that.
Or if they wanted to even get a chance to be playing at the playoff at the finals, because as soon as
then why did nobody come before? Why did nobody come before?
Because we had Kawhi, we were good. We're good.
No, I'm saying before Kawhi.
No,
we just got Kawhi last year.
I'm just saying no. Because as soon as LeBron left the East, we had everyone kept talking. Toronto probably has the best chance to make it to the finals.
And Masai Ujiri knew he had to go make a trade because nobody's gonna come here on their own merits. He knew it.
Okay, and now
he knew it.
But he.
So I was right, wasn't I?
No, you weren't.
All right, let's shift towards the Leafs.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore, bro.
Ay. Dude, they would be top 4 next year. I'd say top 3. And you'll see it.
They're gonna be number 1 next year, regardless. Because Kawhi Leonard's coming.
Okay, but you'll see if he does leave that there will be top 4, if not top 3. You'll see it. I hope for your sake that I hope for all of our sakes, but really for yours.
For my sake.
If he leaves, you're honestly going to be crying and depressed for like 2 months.
You should be too.
And I'm going to have to deal with it.
You should be too.
No, because I never let myself buy into the hype. I wanted to come give us a chip, and then if he left, you really going to be angry at him if he leaves? I'm not going to be angry at him if he leaves.
I'm angry with him if he leaves.
Exactly.
Well, maybe
I prepped myself for this all year. Unlike the rest of
how many All-Stars have won a championship with a team and then left right the next year?
Not many, but
you
LeBron James made a finals.
That's going to hurt your thing.
Yeah, to an extent.
When he won with Cleveland, was he thinking about leaving? No, he was like, I'm going to do it again with Cleveland.
He's left twice and he lost in the finals.
There you go. It hurts your legacy. That's why I'm telling you. I kept saying.
All I'm saying is, I've gone through this too much in the city of Toronto, and I'm braced myself, unlike the rest of you idiots in this city and in this country, who put all your eggs in one basket.
We're all idiots. You're the smart one.
Yeah, because I just let myself all season. Don't get too caught up on is he staying or is he going? Is he staying? Is he going? Let him come here, work his ass off, try and deliver us a chip. And if he does, I could care less or care not if he leaves. I want to stay, but hey, he gave us a damn title. That is the greatest thing. That is what you work for. That is what you work for.
Okay, and I want to also have one more.
So
I don't want one and done.
How extremely hard it is to win back-to-backs. Obviously, you want another one, but he gave us one, and dude, it's the first one ever. And we wouldn't have got it otherwise if we had DeMar DeRozan. So if he left, I can deal with it because I've been prepping for this all year.
I won't be able to.
But now if he stays, you know,
so it's
gonna be great.
How do you think? What's his name? Charles Barkley. How did his comment age? Up until remember that comment that we discussed. Yeah. How do you think that has?
I think it's still. I still agree with him.
So you think the end of basketball in Toronto? So then why the fuck can the team be a top 4 if it's the end of basketball if Kawhi leaves?
No, I'm saying long term, bro. You still took that comment out of context. I'm not saying like, oh, next year or the year after. And still, we haven't gotten into...
He said it's the end of
basketball. Masai Ujiri could still say if Kawhi leaves, what's the point of bringing back Gasol and Danny Green? Gasol, please don't take your option.
What else are you going to have?
What's the point of having Kyle Lowry for $33 million for 1 more year? He could still sell and start a rebuild.
Rebuild, but you just telling me that no one wants to come over. So who are we gonna build with? Just the guys we draft in like
that's how you do a rebuild. That is
no, but I'm saying like we're not even having like top picks here.
No,
who are we gonna rebuild with?
If listen to the words coming out of my mouth, child. If Kawhi doesn't resign, he could very well say even if Gasol takes his option, trade him for a 2nd round pick. Kyle Lowry, trade him for a 1st round pick. And then you start the rebuild. You're gonna end up lower in the Eastern Conference this year because all you're gonna have is Fred and Siakam.
I don't see Lowry
and then
playing past this contract. If you
so that's fine. But if you don't have Kawhi Leonard and Masai Ujiri says, here's the thing: if Kawhi Leonard leaves and the Raptors don't acquire another 3, I'm saying they're gonna be a top 3-4 team if they bring in a guy like Andrew Wiggins. If they don't, you might end up squeaking in the 4th or 5th seed like Indiana Pacers did, but you're not gonna be a threat in the playoffs. So Ujiri could very well say, see ya Gasol, see ya Kyle, and start a rebuild. Drop to the bottom of the East. Get some good picks, acquire assets, and I'm not saying I'm okay with that. I'm saying that's a good possibility it's going to happen. And that's what Charles Barkley...
It's a good possibility it's going to happen?
If Kawhi leaves.
Oh.
And that's what Charles Barkley was alluding to. And then going forward again, now they enter the rebuild. And now 5 years have passed where now they're contender again. Everybody's forgotten about what Kawhi Leonard did 5 years ago. And now free agents don't want to come here again.
But you'd think him leaving, what about guys like Siakam? You don't see Siakam becoming a star in the league?
We had Chris Bosh as a star here. We had DeMar DeRozan as a star here.
Okay, no, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure Siakam's a guy who wants to stay here.
Yeah.
Even whether Kawhi leaves or not. So
we saw DeMar DeRozan stay here.
So why do we have to rebuild if he?
No, you build around him. He's your one guy that you keep.
But he might need someone else too. He might need.
Yes, that's the whole point of dropping down to get good draft picks.
No, but I'm saying he might need guys like Larry and Gasol there too to actually keep him in Toronto. If everyone's just leaving, what the fuck is he gonna do really?
Well, then you trade him for 3 first-round picks if he becomes that good.
No, but I'm saying then he's gonna be like, I want to actually be on a winning team. I don't want to start this whole rebuild thing. We just I'm a top player.
Then it goes to a full rebuild. And that is a good possibility that could happen if Kawhi doesn't stay. If he can acquire another player, that might be the best option. Right? I'm telling you, if you can't get another, you don't need an all-star, but you need a guy who can contribute 15 points a night. If you don't get that to replace that scoring, it's gonna be a big problem.
Well, time will tell.
All right, let's shift away from this Raptors. Quick shout out to Canada's Women's World Cup team.
Hour talking about Raptors.
They flopped 42 minutes.
Damn.
Women's World Cup team, big flop yesterday. Did you see that?
Definitely saw it, but just tell me anyways.
They lost 1-0 in the round of 16 to Sweden. They got a penalty kick to tie it up, and this is mind-boggling. Christine Sinclair is the second leading goal scorer of all time in women's soccer. 2 goals behind the lead.
Yeah.
And she says to this Becky girl, younger girl on the team, "Do you want to take the penalty kick?"
Why?
And Becky says, "It's a big moment for me. Of course I want to take it." And then Christine lets this girl take it. Crappy shot. Goalie saved it. Usually in soccer, the goalie's got to guess. The shot was so slow, the goalie literally waited till she kicked it and just dove over and grabbed it. Christine Sinclair is the second greatest soccer player of all time. And you're letting somebody else take that penalty kick when your team's on the line for the World Cup? You need to tie it?
That was a mix.
Are you kidding me?
That's a mix-up of emotions. She should want to take the shot.
Yeah.
And it's good that the other girl is like so okay with it. Because you want that in a player. But it's kind of like, why the fuck don't you have that?
In men's soccer, guys are almost fist fighting on the field to take the penalty kick. And this girl wants to go down as one of the greatest and gave that away.
Everyone knows it's going to be you.
Yeah. Why are you're trying to be nice in that moment? This is not a group stage game, a qualifier for the World Cup. This is the knockout stages. And you're the GOAT of Canadian soccer. And you're giving it to somebody else? That's an atrocious atrocity. Like,
whatever.
I can't even fathom that. That's all I have to say. They flopped. They're a top 4 team that played like their freaking bottom 20 team. They didn't look that good all tournament long. Close off with the Leafs. Ask me about Mitch Marner or something.
So,
let's start the Patrick Marleau trade. A lot of people are up in arms about the price we gave up. Because we gave up a first round pick just to trade away Patrick Marleau's $6 million salary. Now, does the price suck? Yes. But did the deal have to be made? Yes. So, what else could Kyle Dubas have done? Well, try and get a 3-team deal going. I'm not sure what fell apart with LA. And all along, if you rewind 4 or 5 episodes ago, so Carolina needs to meet the minimum. $60 million they have to pay minimum salary next year. They're nowhere near it. They need to take money. He ends up going to Carolina. We end up giving a first-round pick. LA Kings wanted him because his old coach was there, Todd McClellan. So why was there nothing possible where, all right, he goes to Carolina.
Yeah.
They retain 50% of his salary. They get $3.1 million. And then he gets shipped off to LA. And then they take the other $3 million and he plays for them. That way, Carolina's not taking a full $6 million. So you don't have to give them a freaking first-round pick. But now, you can't get a third team involved. He gets bought out by Carolina. You lost your first-round pick. And now he gets to go home to San Jose anyways on a friggin' $900,000 deal, $1.5 million deal. So, it's tough. Kyle Dubas, I think he had other options, but I'm not the one taking those phone calls from the Kings and the Canes, seeing what they're willing to do, right? And then, I think they really severely lost out on PK Subban. And that's on Kyle Dubas and his management. Dude, I was over the moon. Lots of guys arguing with me on Twitter, and I'm going to explain to you why this could have been possible and why they should have done it. This guy went for peace.
Arguing with you on Twitter?
Dude, so many people. Guys I used to go to school with.
Oh.
Some random people. Like,
I do too much arguing with you, man. That's why I stay off Twitter. I can't argue with more.
honestly, I hate Twitter because people are so... They're crazy fans who don't think about anything
Well, the
analytically.
problem is it gives everyone a voice.
Right. I know PK Subban had his lowest point totals last year, like 38 points or something. But this guy, a bona fide shutdown defenseman, offensive defenseman, great two-way player from the Toronto area. And everybody's saying, oh, we can't take his full $9 million salary. Yes, we could have. And New Jersey got him so cheap because they took down his full $9 million salary. Nashville didn't retain any salary. What you could have done, you traded Patrick Marleau, so you had his $6 million available. Now, we use that now to re-sign Kapanen and Johnsson, which will be announced shortly. Well, Kapanen is a better player. If the price to get PK Subban is Andreas Johnsson in 2 seconds, that is a no-brainer. And in my mind, Mitchell Marner is no longer a Maple Leaf. According to Brian Burke, he turned down a 8-year deal for $10 million per year. $80 million guaranteed.
Oh, wow.
In US dollars. Check on your phone. What is that in Canadian dollars?
What? How
80
much?
million US. Because this is a kid who's living in
80
Canada
million
year
US.
round. You're turning
Sounds
down
like 100.
80 million US. All right, you can't. At least they can't pay him $11 million. I think Dubas has realized that.
105 Canadian.
This guy turned down $105 million Canadian. Are you kidding me?
Why though?
Because he thinks he's Austin Matthews, literally. So
Is this what we always talk about? You gotta have, which is what we liked about a guy like Danny Green. You gotta be realistic.
You gotta be
about
conscious,
yourself. Yeah,
right?
Be realistic about
Self-conscious.
yourself.
So
It's good to think you're the best, but
if Mitch Marner
if you're
wants
clearly
11,
not.
Mitch Marner wants 11. We offered him $10 million. He declined it. This guy's gone. PK Subban would have been your number 2 defenseman playing with Morgan Riley at $9 million. Cheaper than what you're willing to give Mitch Marner. And pretty much for the same impact type of player, just on the back end instead of forward. And if you lose Andreas Johnsson, well, so be it. He's a second, third line forward. He's a stretch second line forward. Right? Like, guy came in we gave him a $3 million deal. Are you kidding me? Andreas Johnsson and 2 second round picks is way better than what Jersey gave them. Jersey gave them 2 second round picks and 2 piles of garbage. An AHL prospect and a 7th, 8th defenseman.
2 piles of garbage.
It was literally Nashville just wanted to clear the $9 million to go after free agents. They just said whoever can take full $9 million, you can have them. 2 second round picks for a top 2 defenseman. Are you kidding me? And the Leafs couldn't pull that off. You just have the thing is, Dubas has got to do the tough thing. Brendan Shanahan's got to do the tough thing. Swallow your pride and realize that Mitch Marner has too much ego. He values himself over the team. Doesn't care about winning. Make the tough call and part ways with him. I don't think he's going to get offer sheeted. Everybody's talking about it. Nobody's giving up 4 first round picks. He's going to end up getting traded. So what Kyle Dubas needs to do now, like I said before, go out, get yourself a top 2, top 3 defenseman with 2 first round picks coming back. And then use those first round picks to go get another forward. But is he going to have the cojones to say Mitch Marner's gone? He's coming around. The other day he said it's not 100% guaranteed that we would match any offer sheet given to him. Now that could be
He said that?
He said that. That could just be him saying to Mitch Marner, hey, you want to go look at offer sheets? Go ahead, because we might let you walk.
Well, then they'll probably think he's like bluffing.
I think they think he's bluffing. I don't think he is. If he is bluffing,
You don't think he is?
It's too much. Dude, take your $10 million, man. I've told in the previous episode, I told you the reasons why he's not Austin Matthews. Doesn't score goals, doesn't play the center of the ice. Got a lot better with John Tavares.
How did
He went up like 18
in the
points
series
with John
against
Tavares.
Boston? What was the points like between the two?
Austin Matthews had 5 goals in 7 games. Mitch Marner had 3 points.
I remember he had 2 goals in the first.
No, he had a goal. I think a goal and 2 assists, something like that.
I'm pretty sure he had 2
Matthews had
goals.
5 goals and 7 assists. Let's find out right now.
Really? I thought it was a lot closer than that.
Mitch Marner, these playoffs, he had 4 points in 7 games, 2 goals, 2 assists. Disappeared after game 1. Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews, 6 points, 5 goals. Doesn't matter about the assists. They're different type players, but I've said time and time and again, the hardest thing to do in hockey is score goals. Matthews is a bona fide goal scorer, top 5 goal scorer in the league. In 68 games last year, at 37 goals. If he played 82 games, he'd probably have 48 to 50 goals. All right, this guy's top 5 scorer in the league. Mitch Marner is he's not a top 5 player in the league. All right, it's the reality of things. Is he a fantastic player? Do I want him on the team? Yes. But is he what he thinks he is? No. And it could be his father. I've said before, reports his father is pretty involved.
But we don't know. We don't know how.
We don't know how. Involved. And his agent, Darren Ferris.
How credible those
right? His agent is a guy who likes to talk to the media a lot. You know, one of those agents. He doesn't go quiet about his business.
I feel like that could be good for an athlete.
Well, apparently
it keeps them out of the media.
So Brian Burke with Sportsnet, former Leafs general manager, he's the one that reported that Marner turned down a 8-year, $10 million because a Sportsnet source got it from Marner's agent. So this guy likes to leak stuff, but to me, it's like
I'm sure it's an okay with thing before he leaks it.
But to me, it's like you got to realize something. Whether this guy resigns or not, fans are now turning on Mitch Marner because he leaked that he turned down $10 million. Not one Leafs fan, well, some Leafs fans who are in over their heads think he deserves 11, but not many. So now this guy's looking like the bad guy. He's making his client look like the bad guy in his hometown. And can you imagine? A lot of stuff was made about when John Tavares went back to the New York Islanders this season. I don't know if you saw those highlights. The fans were killing him. They were throwing stuff on the ice, ripping apart his jerseys. If you think that was bad, imagine this guy walking down the streets of Toronto because he lives here in the summer. If he turned down $10 million, then gets traded because they can't re-sign him or signs an offer sheet somewhere.
I don't think he'd be walking around Toronto after that.
Exactly. Somebody is throwing a freaking banana and a pile of garbage at his face.
Why banana?
I'm just saying, like, you're not going to throw someone hard and kill the guy, but he's going to get mauled, destroyed in his hometown. When he comes back next year to play in the ACC, walking out of his hotel. You thought the Warriors got it bad?
Some stressful people
will be sleeping outside of this guy's hotel.
What? Like, how old is he? 22, probably? 20?
I think he's a year younger than us.
Who?
Mitch Marner.
So he's probably 22. He's probably turning 22.
Yeah.
Or is 22. These are stressful fucking decisions to be making.
But that's why you gotta take stuff into your own hands and not leave it up to your agent. William Nylander. When it got down to it, December 15th. He
thinks he's a fucking $10 million.
Over
dollars, over $10 million
a
year.
So the guy who just won both NHL has 2 MVP awards. Nikita Kucherov just won both of them. Yeah. There's one voted by the players and there's one voted by the general manager of the league. This guy just won both of them. He's making $9.5. So I'll give you $9 million.
Well,
and then everybody's talking. Brian Hayes made a good point that he keeps saying, "Oh, Austin Matthews. If you want to go sign to another team, they're gonna say, what's Austin Matthews to us? He doesn't play for our team."
Yeah.
Colorado has $36 million in cap space. They were a playoff team last year. Really good team. Okay, that's the one good team who could go after Mitch Marner and have the cap space. They're going to say $12 million. Nathan McKinnon, our best player who's better than you, is making 6.2.
How much is McDavid making?
12 and a half.
12?
So if this guy thinks he deserves...
that he thinks he's that close to... That's actually pretty wild.
And you think Matthews is not McDavid, but Matthews is a better goal scorer than McDavid.
This is a confirmed thing, though, that he believes that he's worth over $10 million.
Or his agent is telling him and his father is telling him that he's worth over 10.
Is this who leaked this? His agent? Again?
Yeah, his agent gave... So the $10 million came from Brian Burke, who
with the agent talking a lot in the media.
You see what I was getting at?
Yeah.
This is
fucked.
This is not good, man. And this all ties back into...
Hopefully he signs you for $10 million a year, because...
I don't even want to give him the 10. At this point, I'm ready to get rid of him. No.
Damn.
Think of it this way. The NHL salary cap next season,
I was gonna say, what's the cap?
is $81.5 million.
Okay.
Okay, Austin Matthews at 11.5.
Okay.
John Tavares is at 11. You give Mitch Marner even say 10. That's $32 million in 3 players.
And then you got $50 million left.
$50 million to 15 more spots on your roster. Your goalie's making over 5. Kadri's at 4.5.
Okay.
Brownlee's at 5. Like, man, it's just adding up quick.
What's Nylander?
6.9. How can you build a competitive team?
Yeah.
And I keep telling you, the Boston Bruins and St. Louis Blues in the finals, highest paid player for both of them, 7.25. It's the reason why they're in the Cup finals. Deep teams.
It's true.
Very clear. And the Leafs are letting this happen. They're letting these kids get away with murder, get gangbusters.
That's crazy. You just got eliminated in the first round. You want to make that much money now?
Eliminated in the first round, and you disappeared after game 1, game 2.
I don't know how it is in hockey, but I feel like in any other sport, if you try that shit, you're off.
If Lou Lamoriello was still here, he's sending Mitch Marner packing a month ago. The old GM, who's now...
Imagine like Mitchell was like, fuck this, yo, I deserve fucking I don't know, fucking.
I think the max NHL is
40
15
million.
million.
A year.
The max NHL is 15 mil.
A year?
Yeah, 8 years. So that's how they missed out on PK Subban. If you have come to this
Is there anyone
conclusion
even
earlier,
close to that?
no, David at 12 and a half.
He's the closest?
Yeah, he's 12 or 12 and a half. I forget.
What about Crosby? He's gonna get no.
8.7 because he wants to win. He's got 3 cups, 3 rings.
Well, this year he goofed.
Well, you can't win every year.
Anyway.
And his team's a little bit older
Fair
now. They
enough.
got to retool.
Ovechkin too, less.
He's around 10, I think.
Okay.
See, him and Sid, difference. Back then, you could sign long deals. They each of them signed like 12-year deals.
Oh.
So they were okay with taking a little bit less as well, right? Because you're going to get that long term. But the guys in Chicago, Kane and Taves, when they won their 3 cups, they're making around 6.5. Afterwards, and they said, okay, now pay me. I've got 3 rings. Now they're making 10.5, and
If you're able to see this, why can't the fucking GM?
That's what I'm saying. This kid is in over his head. He's in his low 30s. What's the guy's name? Mark Hunter, who they let go. It was between.
Is there pressure you think from like fans and like you have to sign Marner?
Yeah, there's lots of pressure. The thing
But
is,
like even if he's asking for that much, like there's no logic that comes into like, okay, you know what? If he's gonna actually ask for that much, okay, don't sign.
there is logic.
Okay,
And I think he's slowly coming to the realization, but he waited too long. You lost out on PK Subban, and you don't know what's gonna happen next. What I could see happening, the only way to salvage this, like, trade Mitch Marner to Colorado for Tyson Barrie and 2 first-round picks. I don't know why Colorado wants to move Tyson Barrie, but he was on the trading block at the draft. They have $36 million in cap space and want to move their best defenseman. I don't know why, but that's fine by me. I'll take him.
But yeah, we fucking figured it out. Defense wins championships.
Yeah.
You gotta have a strong defense.
Look,
Didn't you say who they trying to move from the defense? You're like, we're gonna have to add 2 more defensive players or else we're fucked.
Nikita Zaitsev still wants out. He asked for a trade.
Still wants out, eh?
Still wants out. His house is for sale in Toronto. So
really?
Yeah,
This guy's
remember I
jumping the
reported that.
gun.
His house was for sale before he even asked for the trade.
Then just kick him out, no?
Right? So
Why him? Why no one don't share him?
he's Russian. Nobody cares. He sucks. He's overpaid. And now the problem is, he's overpaid. Lou Lamoriello gave him too long of a contract. He's got 5 years left at $4.5 million.
Yeah.
And nobody. I think he's about a $3.5 million player, but nobody wants to take that. You might have to give up another freaking draft pick to move his money away. Could you imagine now you have to give a 2nd-round pick to trade this guy? They're in shambles. Mark Hunter was the guy for the job. Kyle Dubas should have stayed on as assistant general manager. Instead, they went with the younger guy, and Mark Hunter left.
So what do you want to see happening with them?
Trade Mitch Marner to Colorado for Tyson Barrie, or just find me a top 2, top 3 defenseman and get some first-round picks back with it. Because here's the thing, offer sheet, if the Leafs can get 4 first-round picks, great.
Yeah.
But who's going to want, okay, your 2020, 2021 first-round draft picks teams are going to want.
Mm-hmm.
But 2022, 2023, teams are like, yo, that's so far away, right? So what I'd rather do is trade him, get a nice defenseman and 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And I don't think a team is really going to want to give up 4 first-round picks. Because even if, say, you're Colorado, you're whoever, doesn't matter. You're competing now, right? You don't know what's going to happen 4 years down the line. You could be giving up a lottery pick 4 years from now.
That's true.
A lot of things can change in 4 years in sports. So, Kyle Dubas has got a lot of work. And the Leafs have got me fed up right now. Fed up.
Raptors.
I was talking to a buddy last night. He messaged me like 1:30 in the morning. We started talking Leafs.
Yeah.
We're up to 2:30 in the morning just going back and forth talking about all this shit going down right now. They got my mind racing. Fired up.
Don't worry, you still got Raptors to look forward to next year.
I hope so.
You will. I don't know what else to tell you, man.
Anything else you want to circle back? We didn't get to Executive of the Year, Coach of the Year.
Oh, fuck that shit. Those awards are bullshit, man.
I think Masai should have been Executive of the Year, not
Yeah.
with Raptors bias. Who did tell me? Who did the Bucks acquire last year to this year?
No one, man.
Mirotic
Brooke Lopez and Mirotic.
and Brooke Lopez off waivers. Masai made the biggest trade in the NBA and then brought in Gasol as well.
The Bucks got lucky this year with these awards, man. They also got Coach of the Year, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
You have a talent like Giannis, man. You're giving the coaching too much credit.
Would you
man.
rather give it to Doc
fucking
Rivers?
Giannis some credit?
Would you rather give it to Doc Rivers, Coach of the Year?
100%, man. You give him a mediocre bad team, and he turned it into actually something.
And they had one All-Star, Tobias Harris, and they traded him away
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
deadline.
They didn't have any. They had nothing, bro.
This guy's best player was Lou Williams and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, a
They're
rookie.
And freaking Montrezl Harrell, man. Their best players
Yeah.
almost came off the bench.
Yeah, all of them.
Like, come on, man. How do you not
This
give
guy
it
took
to
a
him?
bench team to the playoffs.
He
He
took
should have been
took Golden State till 6, man.
they should have been a 12-13 seed in the West and ended up
100%.
making the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Doc, I saw how pissed you were last night, and you're rightfully
Should
so,
be.
man.
Those awards are bullshit, though, man. All the time. Someone wins it, sure enough.
All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode 15 of In the Mix. Well, we'll be back soon.
Yes, sir.
As always, for my guy, Adis Kucukovic, I'm Jay Boyal, and Kyle Dubas. Best of luck, buddy. I just hope nobody's throwing bananas at you this summer on the streets of Toronto.